Hey guys, it's Kyla at the MJC, and today I'm going to be going through filling out the admission of service form. Specifically, we're going to talk about filling out the admission of service when you are getting the Part 1 divorce documents. But before I get started, as always, just a quick reminder that nothing in this video is intended to be legal advice. It's a video, so I'm not able to advise you on your specific situation, to analyze what's going on, to talk about if this is the right thing for you to sign off on, or if it's the right way to serve your spouse, or anything like that. So if you do have questions like that, that can be a great thing to get some legal advice on. Here in Milwaukee, you can get brief legal advice for free through the Marquette Volunteer Legal Clinics. If you're not located in Milwaukee, you should contact the clerk of court in your area to find out what sort of resources there are in your neck of the woods. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to fill out this entire form. Depending on whether your spouse got help at the Milwaukee Justice Center or somewhere like that, you may find that portions of the document are already filled out for you. So I'm going to go up through the whole thing, but if some of these are already filled in for you, that's okay. It may just mean that your spouse got help at one of our self-help clinics or through another resource like a volunteer legal clinic. All right, so up here you are going to put the county, and it's the county where the case was filed, not the county not the county where you are located when you sign it. So the county where the case is. So in our situation, that's Milwaukee County. And then here, the names are going to be in the same order that they are on the summons or the petition document. So if I look at my summons, which should be one of the documents you received, you can see the order of the names. So in our case, it's John and Jane. We want to mirror that here. So John's name will go first, and then the respondent, who if you're watching this is most likely you, that name will go second. Jane Doe. Next, you're going to put in the case number. The case number on my sample here is written on the case number line. You may find that in your situation, the case number is stamped in this square over here. Here in Milwaukee, they usually stamp it in purple, but I've seen it be in red or other colors as well in different places. But so just look for that case number. It does usually follow this format where it's going to be number, which represents the year, and then the letters F, A, and then 6 numbers after it. So keep an eye for that, and then when you find that, go ahead and list it here on your form. Next, you're going to put the date that you received the documents. It's worth noting that the date you received the documents doesn't have to be the same as the day you sign this. So right now, as I'm recording this video, it's June 30th, 2023. If I received the documents back on June 15th, so 2 weeks ago, but I just hadn't gotten around to filling this out yet, I can put in this line the day I received them, so June 15th. So just make sure you put in the day you received the documents, even if it's earlier than the day you signed it. Next, you're going to indicate what documents you received. I'm going to go through this again for the Part 1 divorce documents, but if you are filling this out and you've received some other paperwork and you just got directed to this video, just make sure that you're checking the boxes for the paperwork that you received. So with a divorce, you should hopefully have received an authenticated summons and petition. If you're not sure what documents you got, you can see the title of the document, like it is on this summons, is in the upper right-hand section of the document. So you can see up here, we've got that document. And you'll indicate that. Authenticated just means it was court stamped. So unfortunately, my sample one was just filled out on the computer, so it doesn't have the court stamp. But the one you received should have a stamp on it somewhere that says that it was filed with the court. So you'll check that you received that authenticated summons and petition. If your spouse provided you a copy of a blank financial disclosure, which at least here in Milwaukee, they hopefully should, you'll want to check that. If you didn't receive something, go ahead and leave it blank. I guess I should also note that you may have received something called an order to show cause that says a temporary order hearing has been scheduled in your case. If you received one of those, you'll check this second box and put the date that that form says your hearing is scheduled for. So if I received that and it says my hearing is supposed to be, let's say September 15th, I would check this box and then I would put the date that that hearing is scheduled for. And I did not confirm that September 15th is a weekday, so hopefully it is. But anyway, you'll fill in the correct date. If you're doing the part 1, you probably did not receive a proposed marital settlement, a proposed order, a motion for contempt, or a motion to change. If you and your spouse have minor children, if you look through some of that paperwork in the packet they gave to you, it likely has something that says you're required to attend a parent education class. It's not telling you how to be a parent, it's just a little statutorily required class that sort of talks to you about co-parenting and helping your kids through the divorce process. So if you have minor children and you received that form, you're going to go ahead and check this box. And then if your case is in Milwaukee County, the other thing that you will do is you'll receive something called a notice of the dismissal date. It's a bit of a confusing form because if you look at the name at the top, it probably says something like order for hearing. But if you read the fine print on it, you'll see that it isn't actually ordering a hearing. It's just letting you know that there is a dismissal date in this case. A dismissal date is a deadline to turn in the second part paperwork to get your final court date. So hopefully you got that document. If you did, you'll go ahead, it'll be notice of dismissal date. So we've got that as well. Then you're going to sign this and fill in the signature block. And again, the signature block does not, the date in the signature block does not need to be the same date that you received the paperwork. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And you'll go ahead and also list the city and state for your mailing address. You'll put your email address here. If you don't have an email address, just go ahead and leave that blank. And then you'll put a phone number. And then, as I mentioned, so if I were signing this today, I would go ahead and put today's date, even though I received the paperwork on a different day. All right, guys, well, that is all for this form. I hope this was helpful. And until next time, I hope you guys go out and represent yourselves well.